Hello, hello, hello. Black Bean Samson here. It is the 5th of January 2019. Happy New Year's, everyone. Hope you all had a good holidays. Now, since it's after and we are a few dollars short, if not a few $100 shorter than we were previously in debt. Well, hopefully you all are happy, though, with what the time that you get to spend with your family and friends, loved ones, or even if you just became a hermit and enjoyed that. I just want to go over today Canada news. I don't really hear much being talked about Canada news. I live roughly a few hundred miles away from Canada, so I figured it might be a good thing to talk about. Um, kind of even just like hash up on myself what's happening up there. Uh, so the Veterans Affair, I'm sure read the headline here. Veterans Affair skipped normal consultation to introduce new pension for life for disabled vets. Now, I'm not going to read this entire article. It's not really long, too, but I would encourage you all to go out there and check this up if you like, or from Canada, or like Canada stuff, or are into Canada politics. This is from the Globe and Mail, written by, well, it just says parliamentary reporter Gloria Galloway. All right, so Veterans Affair. I'm going to read just a few parts here. Veterans Affair is being accused of avoiding consultations with veterans after introducing details of its pension for life programs. From what I'm understanding here is that they're pretty much ignoring veterans. Like there's leaders groups, and there's leaders of that group, and they try to reach out to these people who are the Veterans Affair, I guess. that I'm understanding here, and they're trying to like figure out details and what's really needed for the pension for life, how the program should be really set up. There's just been very like little to no talk, which is really interesting. You think that you would go talk to the people who are really needing the money, because maybe the next thing you know, they don't need all this extra stuff that you're throwing onto it, but it just sounds good, so you go along with it, rather than being reasonable. I don't know. It's interesting. It's just like being all done behind closed doors. It sounds, and it's not right when that money belongs to people who essentially put their life on the lines, you know, fighting for your country, quote unquote. Like, it's really interesting on how this uh, Canada government is really treating their soldiers. I mean, it's really not much different than American soldiers, how they're, well, before, but now since Trump, it's the complete reverse. It's they're loving them. Like Trudeau is like kind of like the Obama. It seems like. But what really baffles me about this, while I was reading through this, was that when they were doing this new and this the pension for life program is a old program, so they got a new program. I'm not sure what. Okay, there's the new pension for life and the old pension act. So, um, I'll just go along with that. So this new pension for life program essentially saves $1.8 billion. So it says Ottawa will pay about 1.8 billion less. Well, I mean that sounds great. I mean, I'm always glad to hear a group or company or nation or just someone saving a whole bunch of money uh, to help them out down in other endeavors or in the future, or help their people or not take so much from their people. But I mean, when you further look into it, they didn't do really any discussing. See if I can find it here. But they didn't do like any discussing. The legislation enacted the program was enrolled into an omnibus bill, a budget bill in 2018. There was no discussion about it on the floor of the House of Commons, and very little at common committees. Well, I mean, that's why won't you have talked it openly on the floor? There's something weird going on about that. Like, so, like, why would you not do that? Like, do you not like your veterans enough to be open about what they're gonna get? And, I mean, they'd be happy to hear what they're gonna get openly. Um, so yeah, even it says like, although there was an opening for public consultation in Springs, I don't even know if I'm saying that word, consultation. It seems like that would be the right word. I just never even. I don't think I've ever heard a consultant consultation. It must be like when you getting together to consult about something. But anyways, in the spring of 2018, when the government announced the intention to publish regulation to put pensions for life and into effect. There was no additional opportunity for comment after the regulation was released in September. At that point, veterans and other Canadians could see the details of what actually being proposed. That's kind of crazy. So essentially, there was right here. For instance, public comment was allowed for 60 days after new regulations were introduced about around air passenger protection, the legalization of cannabis, the disposal of hazardous waste, and the law governing electroplating and reverse etching. Which that's kind of interesting. Like what law governing electroplating and reverse etching? Like especially with reverse etching, like what's that about? I wonder what that's about. That must be like something to do with stamping money and stuff like that. Because I know they make etchings into metal that are essentially dyes that are used to stamp for money and stuff. But anyways, 60 days. 60 days after the new regulations were introduced. So never were given the opportunity to discuss, to amend, to just to um, argue about. There was just, I mean, it's crazy in how a government is supposed to. These government claim that they are run by the people, democracy and stuff. Well, democracy isn't secretive. Democracy isn't closed doors. Democracy isn't uh, solid walls essentially of what you guys talk about how you guys don't want walls, but yet you guys do the stuff behind walls. You guys do the stuff behind secret meetings and stuff. Like how is that not anywhere different than having that nice walls to protect people? That to me is just it's just insane. Like I just don't that it's either one or two things. These people are literally insane, and just they're insane, or they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't care that people get hurt or lives ruined as long as they benefit. Like, and I mean that is some evil shit. Like, I mean that's some evil people. But here's the most baffling thing about this to me is they say that 1.8 billion dollars they save. Well, they talk about down here this Lorraine if she was to live to 75, she got an email. Who knows if this is true or not? She would receive $690,000 in a basic pain and suffering compensation through the new Pension for Life plan, which is well more than the disability reward of $360,000 that she would have gotten under the current system. Well, that's I don't understand. How can you have saved $1.8 billion if you have increased it for at least for some double? I mean, what you decreased it by double for some and increased it by double for others? I just really don't understand. I'm kind of really confused about that. And then it goes on. It says on the other hand, says Lorraine would get 1,590,000 over the course of her lifetime through Pension for Life plan, but the 2,500,328 if she applied for benefits before April 1st. That's the difference of 910,328 $328 created principally by the elimination of carrier impact allowance, whatever the hell that means, which is one of the benefits that currently exist but will not under the Pension for Life plan. Well, I just, it baffles me. Like, how do you save money if you're increasing that amount of money? I just don't. I mean, that is a difference between that. So you're saying a difference between $1 million almost, $910,000, or short of $100,000 or $90,000 of $1 million. So practically 90% of $1 million. That's like how do you save a billion and 1.8 billion if you're going to increase people's essentially benefits? I don't understand. I really don't understand where they're getting those numbers from and how they can say that. I mean, I don't know if they're like comparing and they're like, well, because we lowered cost here and blah blah blah, it's like this much money, but really it's not. I don't know. It's kind of just confusing. It's a shame that they're taking money like that from the veterans to save money. Well, why not just like cut back on bringing in immigrants? How about that? How about cut back on immigrants, incentivize your Canadian people already to have more babies, so that can better your labor force, so you can get your economy rolling again, and then you can start letting the immigrants back in. I mean, that would be a nice thing for your people, instead of just like slowly allowing them just to be killed off. Like, there's only so much actual habitat, a livable area. Like, Canada is huge, but where you can live is pretty damn small, and it's pretty rough and hard living on the edges. You only hear about the cities. You never hear about the people living on the outskirts. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this podcast still, please like and subscribe. Comment down below for advice, comments. Just want to say hi. Say Happy New Year's. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.